Today on Dog Grooming with Elizabeth Jenn, I'm teaching proper slicker brush techniques and correct dog face washing. We'll cover gentle dog brushing methods, safe dog face washing, how to avoid brush burn, and how to keep soap out of the eyes and ears.
For those who don't know me, I'm Elizabeth Jenn, professional dog groomer since 2010.
So not everyone is comfortable with washing a dog's head. You know, we're afraid to get water in the eyes, afraid to get water in the ears, and in the little nose. So I'm going to show you guys not to be afraid, how not to be afraid, I guess. You can be using, depending on if you're a professional groomer or going to be a professional groomer, or if you're an at-home mom or dad for the, just wanting to wash your own pup. Well, depending on what you're using, you may want to use a little cup. If you use a cup, we're going to take the cup of water and you're going to hold down that ear and see at the bump here, there's like that where the ear connects to the head. You will press down on that and close in the front here. See the front here, like that? You're going to close this and close all the front of that. And then you'll just pour a little water on one side, not on this side. If you're using a hose like me, I'm just going to come on top and just wet just a little bit like that, okay? Wait a second, and there you go, all wet. There's another way you can do the same thing on the other side. We're going to hold down the ear and you hold down the flap in the front, not just holding it down like this. See, the ear canal is still there, okay? You want to bring it in front and close all of it, everything that's in front, and then you'll pour. Or you can use a towel. Okay, I'll show you how I do that. I'm just gonna come wet, lightly wet the dog's head like this, rub it around. This is so that we can, the dog hair can receive the shampoo better. If it's already wet, it'll be easier to start bubbling. So I'm going to use my shampoo here. Whatever shampoo you're using is fine as long as it's formulated for dogs. And what I'm going to do, put just a little, I start with the top of the head, put a little on the top of the head, and we're going to just round and round in circles here. Oh, you don't want me to do that? He doesn't want me to do that. And you can feel those bubbles. You go in, never scratch with your nails, the pads of your fingers, not the nails. And you're just going to go round and round. And I like to come right close to the eye here, but not in the eye. Just round and round. Okay? Then I'm going to do the same for the ears. I'm going to add just a little bit. Hold the ear out. I'm going to put a few drops on the tip of the ear. Not here in general, because I don't want it to leak into the ear. I'll just put it on the tip. Now see this here? My soap, well, you can't feel it. You can see it, but you can't feel it. I can feel it. I can feel that the soap is not sudsy. It's not thick. So I'm going to add more. And once I start feeling like a slip, when there's no real slip and it just feels like watery, just like that. See, it's just feeling watery. I'm going to add a little more soap. What you can do is either rinse it out, or what I like to do is I just pull all that off and I do it again. You can rinse out and then wash again. But by just doing like I just did there, just pulling the water off the ear, it permits me to not have to go through the rinse with the ears again. There's always a chance to get water in those ears. We don't want water in the ears because you don't want to cause any ear infections. So here I am doing this again. You got to get the flap on the inside too. Now notice that I'm not putting soap inside the hole here, the ear canal. I'm not putting soap there. Soap doesn't go there. But they get very greasy and oily around here. Okay? I'm going to clean the inside of the ear with another product once I'm at the table. Pull all that off again, and I'm going to add some more and try to get this to bubble up just a little more. Now I can feel it's clean. Oh, it's really dark. Sorry, the light's a little dark here. The light is not light. All right, so I'm going to come around the sides here. Notice I'm not putting it in the ear. I'm just going to put a little on each side. And I'm just going to rub on each side. Like that. I can keep my camera straight. Rubbing the temples, each side, the chin. You got to get the sides of the mouth here because sometimes they get food there. Okay, now the tricky part, the top part of the nose here. I'm going to add just a little bit. Now, if this is a Shih Tzu and the nose is really close to the eyes, I usually don't wash at the bath. I don't wash the face, that area at the bath. I'll just clean once I'm at the table with my products. Okay, get between the eyes. And this all seems like a lot maybe, but it's not. It's, once you start with the top of the head, you do the ears, you do the sides, and you do the top. There. Now I'm going to rinse his head, and I'm going to show you how I do that. Again, there are different ways you can do this. If you have a really, really small dog and there's practically no hair on this dog, you can get away with using just a washcloth and just rinsing with the washcloth. You kind of like squeeze out the water, rinse out like this, and then rinse your towel again. Same thing. And when I say no hair, I mean like not much hair, like if you're washing your face, okay? But the way I'm going to do it for Blue is I'm going to rinse the front of his face first, the top of his head, I mean, and I'm going to bring his head down, and I keep my hand like this. And the reason why I do this is because water's going to leak here, but he's not going to get any water in his nose, okay? I'm going to try to get to the tip of his nose, bring his head down, and I'm going to go right in front, hang on Blue, right in front of the ears. See how I'm just in front of the ears? Head down, no Blue, hang on. Sorry, hon. Oh, you're my model for today. You got to do a good job. Come on, hon. Maybe 2-3 times just to be sure. And then I'll come and rinse out the side here. See how I'm not getting to the ear? See the water where the water's leaking all the way about here? Chin, same thing on this side, right in front of the ear. Okay. This is where I'm going to use my towel. This is the way I do it. You do it the way you want to do it, in the sense, some people just like to let the ear drop down and they just drop the water on top. But the thing is see how his ears kind of curl back and that opening is right there? It's guaranteed if I pour water here, he'll get it in the ear. So what I'm going to do is I wipe everything up. And the reason why I wipe is because I don't want any water to be squished into the ear once I press down. When I press down, you can do it on both sides. If your hand can go all around, grab both sides of the ears exactly where I mentioned. You're supposed to be closing the front of the canal, the front, okay? I'm holding him like that, head back, and rinsing. Okay, and then I'll come in and I'll wipe that off again. If for some reason your hand can't make it around, both hands can't make it around, like thumb and then your middle finger like this, then you'll do one side at a time. Hold that ear down exactly how I explained it, the front here, and we're going to do one side, and we're starting from the middle, and we're letting the water drop one side, tilting the head to the side, And then we'll do the same thing on this side and tilt the head that side, but we're only getting the water in the middle of the head here, not on that side. So it seemed like a lot. Maybe rewind. No, you can't rewind these videos. Just go back, go back to the start of the video. And if you want to watch it again, just to be sure you didn't miss out on anything. Rinsing, washing the dog's head. It's really crucial that you get this right if you want to be sure that the dog doesn't get any problems with ear infections or getting water down up into the nose and right straight to the lungs, because that'll happen. Especially little Shih Tzus with those short noses, that water's going to go straight to the lungs, down the throat and straight to the lungs. And you just don't want that. And water is okay over the eyes, and as long as you're using, you know, that your shampoos are good shampoos for pups, you know, you don't want to be getting any strong products in the eyes. So that's it for this part. Now I'm going to show you the proper way to brush your pup and what brushes you can use. Now this is a wet brush, and as you see here, it has these little plastic nibs on it. When you test it on your arm, it's soft. So that means that if I'm to brush the dog, brushing on the dog's coat, following the body, it's fine. It won't scratch the dog. It won't hurt the dog. But these brushes are not really meant for dematting or getting in, like, to separate every single strand. To do that, you're going to need a slicker brush. The wet brush is more like after the dog is out of the tub, you can brush out the pup, especially when they have longer hair and like the tail and whatnot. You can just lightly brush the tail out just to get not dematting, well, just to get the separation of the hairs going, right? Because the more you separate the hair, the quicker the dog will dry. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you how to use the slicker brush. Now you have different kinds of slicker brushes. You have slicker brushes that are really, the pins are really hard, and some are soft. Some are longer and some are shorter. And this is just a fairly medium-sized, normal slicker brush. And they're semi-hard, these pins here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how I use this brush on a dog. So you want to test the brush out on your arm first, lightly, and just feel what it feels like. So imagine if you're brushing the dog with this type of brush, the slicker brush with pins, it would actually cause brush burn. If you just keep brushing and brushing and brushing, it could cause brush burn. And brush burn could cause, it could lead to an infection. If you hurt the dog and the dog ends up with wounds, then the dog could get infection, right? So you don't want that. So the proper way to use your slicker brush, in general, you want to hold your slicker brush with your thumb over here. This is one way. If you're holding like this, and you can also hold this way, and this is how, in general, I'll use it, like this, or like this. You got your thumb over here, but it depends. I turn my brush around, and I'll use it in different ways. Just watch how I'm doing it, and you'll see what I mean. I just flip it around different ways. If you're new to the slicker brush, it takes a little practice, and you get there. It ends up happening on its own kind of thing. As long as you're holding it lightly, what you want to do is you want to tap and pull away from the dog's skin. You don't want to be brushing along the skin. You can tap and pull up. See how I'm kind of going round and round, and there's like a round and round motion going here, like that. Okay. So obviously we're changing areas, right? So I'm going to hold the leg here. You want to tap up. And when you tap, I'm not saying tap hard. You just This is what you're doing. So there's just a little touch on the skin there, a light touch. So let's do this and just watch me brush and you'll see what I mean. And you need to listen. Can you hear the crunching sound? See, that means that there are knots there. Once the knots are gone, the tangles, see, you hear that? There's tangles there. You don't hear it anymore. Not as much. See, no more crunching. See how soft that is? I'm going to do the side here. I'm going to hold his arm. Come in from underneath here. Just going to hold his elbow nice and straight. See how I'm changing my position? There's no law, guys, on this. It's just how comfortable you are. See, I can switch this way if I'm going on the inside. It's just how comfortable you are with your, in your position, the way you're positioned. See, I changed the position. All depending on where I'm brushing. But my goal here is to constantly be thinking of not scratching the dog. And you got to focus on those knots and the little mats. Now, once the dog is brushed out, your best friend is your metal comb. My metal comb has 2 different teeth spacing here, larger, thinner. I'll usually come in with the larger side. I just want to, this here, see how this doesn't hurt? So I want to go down to the skin. Now this is where you can touch the skin. And the reason why I'm going down to the skin is I'm coming to see here if there's any knots or mats or whatnot. See here, would advise you to do it slowly because often you'll hit, if you're going too fast and you hit a snag, you're going to hurt the dog. So we're just coming in to see what's going on. And there's some knots there where usually there are little knots that happen in this area here. So I want to come in and work that. So you can hold the skin, tap and pull up and away. And these are not mats, guys. This is just a little bit of knotting. You can work your knot also with your comb. See? So same thing, now that we know that the dog has no more mats, no more knots, then we can, once we're all done, we can proceed and move on with the clipping and whatnot. Same thing for tails. Tails are long, it's longer hair. If you have longer hair, you can, if you jump straight in, which you can, but if you do, just pick at it like this. Never grab any, like there are some comb types that you can, that I've seen people use, and you just grab it and then you're just pulling and trying to rip that hair out and pulling and ripping and pulling and ripping. You're just ripping that hair right out. So what you do want to do is you want to use your slicker brush here. So I hope this helps, guys. Hope it helped you a bit. I upload new videos every Monday and Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget to become a member so you can see me do full grooms. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. I reply to everyone. Till then, guys, bye for now. Bye.